I guess I'm gonna stop that again.
Just let Sean to sit. And I will call the meeting to order. If we could all please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Christina, you have the roll?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Okay, we need to approve this evening's agenda.
Motion to approve this evening's agenda.
I will second. I will second that. Thank you, sir. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 3, the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda will be passed with one council motion, unless there is something someone would like to remove from the consent agenda to discuss.
I have a couple of questions on 3 items. I, R, and S.
I, R, and S.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh. Is there anyone else? Okay, with that, I will make a motion to pass the consent agenda minus the items I, R, and S. Have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion on that?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ron, to your item, sir.
Yeah, the first one, the sewer income statement, I noticed we had a loss and expense on there for the irrigator claim. Am I correct in thinking that that was largely defrayed by an insurance settlement?
That is correct. Ron, if you recall from the last meeting, I provided the invoice and the reimbursement in the consent agenda that you had asked to.
Yep.
So yes, it's showing in the income statement because it still has to get booked under
Okay.
that fund.
No, I just want to make sure that.
Yep. If you-
30,000 was zeroed out.
It is, and actually, if you look at the top of the income statement where the revenue is, you'll see insurance proceeds and the irrigator claim is listed there too. So one should minus the other one, minus the deductible.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then my other questions were on RNS, I guess that's the copy of leases. Is that what we have now here? We have a leased copier at City Hall, is that right?
Yeah, let me just get to that really quick.
I was just wondering, is this comparable to what we're paying now or?
Yeah, the plan will be, so R and S, one is for Public Works and one is for City Hall. So we currently at City Hall do a lease with Marshall for the unit that's here.
Mhm.
And what we'll be doing when the new building opens is we need one on either side in both offices. So we're gonna do a leased unit for the Public Works side.
Mhm.
We're gonna take the remainder of the lease that's here in City Hall, which I think has 2 years left on it. Relocate that lease to the police side because it'll be adequate for their use.
Mhm.
And then that S is going to be a new unit for City Hall. That'll give us the ability to do large format and color. We have a small color printer that we use that's laser and it's on its last leg.
But
So
that's leased as well.
yeah, it makes for a much lower click of use per copy. We've done something very similar after the liquor store expanded. We got a leased unit for their office. They were going through inkjet cartridges like crazy. So Marco provides us with this ability, it's insured, if anything goes wrong with it, the lease covers any repairs on it. As a matter of fact, a year ago, our hard drive on this one at City Hall went down. And we were completely dead in the water. Luckily, we had the small little color backup, but they paid for all the tech support and all the parts to get it fixed for the part release. So it's a nice program to have, and Marco's a big company, and the gentleman I've been working with, he also services the school and do our thing. I think we can come to.
So essentially, we're adding two copies.
We are,
We're moving one
yes,
from City Hall.
that's correct.
What approximately is the lease amount for one for City Hall?
Right now, our current lease is 154, 165, something like that.
Okay.
And it'll go up to almost 190 because it'll have a color option and a large format option on it.
And that goes to the police.
So the existing one here that just goes up to the legal size, Lori, will go to the police office when it's open.
And the new one for this one is the 200 and whatever. it was.
Yes, that's good.
And then for,
The public works will have.
and all this is included, so you have the black and white prints included per month, so it'll print for 2,500 a month.
Yep.
Under that amount. Is that
Yep.
what we're reading?
Yep,
Okay. And then this is your charge for any prints over that.
correct.
Okay.
Is the new copier, just a quick question, is new copier, will it be used in our PMD also?
Yep. So, when I created that license center budget,
It's in
I
there?
put some
Yeah.
operating in there and I can percentage that leasing out as we start moving forward into it in 23.
Does that take care of everything, Lenny? No? Or,
Yep, no, I just wanted to clarify, we're adding two copiers.
Yeah.
in existing.
Yep, no, all good questions.
and with that, would you like to make a motion to,
Make the motion, we approve the remaining items, I, R, and S.
second?
Second,
Any further discussion?
no,
All those in favor?
I,
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Onward. We need to make a motion to close the regular meeting and open the truth and taxation hearing. If someone wants to do that.
I'll make a motion to close the regular council meeting and open the 2022 truth and taxation public hearing.
Motion, do I have a second?
second,
All those in favor?
I,
Aye. And we are on to the truth and taxation. Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Okay. The purpose of the truth and taxation hearing is to discuss the proposed property tax levy and the tax payable year for 2023 and the proposed budget for the year 2023. This public hearing is held to discuss and seek public comment on the city's 22 general fund budget and the 23 property tax levy. City of Blackduck must certify its final payable 23 property tax levy to the county auditor no later than December 28th, 2022 by statute. Tonight's document will outline the City of Blackduck's 23 levy. It's LGA payment from the state of Minnesota, tax base for the city, and the 23 general fund expenditures and revenue resources. The 23 general fund budget does not balance. It will need an increase in the property tax levy. Therefore, the tax levy will remain as suggested in September in the preliminary amount of $373,941. Below the, in the center of page 1, you'll note the option that the city council moved forward with in September is a proposed 9.6% increase over the 2022 budget. This doesn't necessarily translate to a 9.6% increase for all taxpayers, because an average home valued at $100,000 with a home's full homestead exclusion of $40,000 would only be paying $659 a year in city sales tax or city property taxes, excuse me, which is a decrease over 22. Why is Blackduck so high? We have a very large percentage of property that is classified as non-taxable. The Blackduck School District is in our school, or is in our municipal boundary, government buildings, and we have a lot of nonprofit churches. Page 2, I have an overview of the local government aid calculation. Nothing has changed on this since 22 max. The only update I could note in red of the calculation is the city of Blackduck housing units is now 75. I believe it was 76 last year. Other than that, if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the unmet need is now $486,761. So the LGA for 23 was certified at $290,392, which equates as an increase of $6,655 over 2022. Page 3, I have provided for those that are interested, just the estimated market value of the city, showing an increase of almost 14% over the previous year, which we all know every county in the state increased their estimated and their market values of their homes and property. On page 4, I have added a section on the net tax capacity. This is one of the steps in calculating tax burden for all parcels involving in a local government's property tax levy. The total tax capacity is computed by first aggregating the tax capacities of all parcels within the city, and then the taxable tax capacity is used to determine the local tax rates. The city tax rate is computed by dividing the city levy minus any fiscal disparities, distribution levy applicable, and by the total tax capacity. The sum of the tax rates for all taxing authorities that levy against a single property produces the total local tax rate. This total local tax rate is then used to determine the overall tax burden for each parcel of property by multiplying the parcel's tax capacity by the total local tax rate. I have shown that the review of how the net tax capacity of the city may affect an individual's tax burden, providing a 5-year comparison from 2018 to the proposed 23 with a sample tax based on that homestead exclusion of a valuation of $100,000 home I used in page 1. The taxable market value is the estimated market value less than credits that someone might get. When taxable market value decreases, the tax burden to property owners will increase. Whenever we increase our market value, which we all know happens, the tax burden to property owners decreases. However, as you can see in page 2023, the city of Blackduck taxable market value has increased over 2022, which shows a very strong market value increase, but may also affect the tax burden to property owners. You'll notice that almost a 16% increase over the previous year. So why do your taxes vary from year to year? It's a very calculated and confusing calculation. Each home and each resident commercial property is individual. In the spring, in April, the Beltrami County Assessor's Office has evaluations every year. And I encourage anyone that is interested to meet with them. It's an open house held here at City Hall. In general, the following items have the most impact on someone's taxes: the property value, drives your mathematical calculation. With any special assessments that may add to the tax bill. The tax levy for the city, but the county and the school district are also changing and affecting the child total tax. And then that constant change to the city of Blackduck net tax capacity also plays into that number. Moving forward to page 5, I've outlined the general fund expenditures for 2023. Excuse me. Noting public safety, fire, and police taking up 40% of the expenditures, and general government and administration taking up almost 26. Streets taking just shy of 24. And then the rest of it is between lighting, parks, and the library. Page 6, I outline an idea of where the funding is going this year. Generally, majority of our funding goes to personnel costs. This is wages, taxes, healthcare. Operating takes up the next chunk, and then any equipment we may be paying for. But overall, personnel costs take up the majority of the budget. As you know, near the bottom on page 6, I outlined that the total dollar amount increase to this year's levy is $53,909. Overall personnel costs increased or 5.5% or $23,000. Overall operating costs are increased at 13% or $39,000. Noting the library funding is getting an additional $10,000 to fund any acquisition costs for the purchase of a larger facility, or to assist in any remodel updates to the existing facility, of which has been discussed since May. Street materials budget will also increase to provide the city necessary money for any repairs that will be reimbursed by FEMA by the disaster declaration from 2022 in April. The license center budget is a new operating cost, providing funding for payroll and operating. And then, as we all know from our own personal life, fuel, heating, electricity, and insurance costs are increasing overall. The equipment costs of the city do show a decrease, though, of 8% over the previous year, and this is due to some equipment that is now paid for. So on page 7, I kind of outline what we accomplished in 22. The downtown redevelopment project on Main Street is now green space, and it is listed for sale in future development, of which we are working on a purchase agreement with a private entity right now. With our ARPA funds that were provided to the city in 21 and 22 of $93,000. We've committed $63,000 to improve our wastewater lift stations, and then $30,000 of it is being distributed between the 22 and the 23 general fund budget for administration and police costs. As I stated earlier, the FEMA disaster 4659 from April, all those heavy rains we got in the spring really wreaked havoc on a lot of our gravel roads, our campground, the beach, and especially Railroad Avenue. So the city has been working with FEMA and they have been approved for reimbursable grants to improve and bring back all those damages back to where they were. The Blackduck Fire Department also entered into a purchase agreement for a Pierce Freightliner tanker pumper. This new addition to the department fleet will provide a 2,100 gallon tank with a 1,250 gallon per minute pumper in one piece of equipment, thus increasing the response of the department's fire protection area. No costs additional to the levy will be utilized for this purchase of equipment. This is all capital appropriations that have been going on for almost 10 years now. Again, the Blackduck Library facility has been a conversation with Kichigami and the community for the better part of the year. The city is committed to improving the existing facility or moving to a new one. And Kichigami is on board with our city to do that, providing us commitment of the $65,000 in capital money that is this city's facility to use. We did have approval of our limited deputy register, and that will be open very soon, either late this month or early 2023, which will provide the services to the community with tab renewals and title transfers. And then our special and enterprise fund department improvements, we've made improvements to our city liquor store, our golf course, campground, and all the rest of the amenities continue to be an asset for the community. Regardless of a soft economy in 22, I believe the city council and the staff are committed to supporting these departments to offer its residents and visitors a great experience. So what's up for 2023? Local option sales tax in 2022 did not make it to our general election in November. Despite the efforts of the city, that was due in part to the state legislature not passing a budget bill. So the city of Blackduck is still committed to those efforts and providing that local sales tax option to improve the areas of regional significance they've committed to in 22. And they'll continue to work with the representatives in 23 and bring this plan to action. Side note, won't make it to a general election now until 2024. The city of Blackduck also this year has been working on a property orderly annexation of city-owned property. It should come to a transition after this evening's meeting, where the Minnesota Office of Administrative Hearings will review final approved documentation in early 2023. Thus annexing all city-owned property, cemetery, campground, the golf course, wastewater ponds, and irrigation fields into the city limits. The Blackduck City Hall is now looking towards moving to improve its exterior of its building. After the removal of the 3 commercial structures adjacent to the building, we'll move forward in future to improve the exterior. Major improvements to the roof and the parapet may have to come down. Will hopefully happen in 23. Combined with exterior wall improvements and hopefully new signage can secure a future as a staple of the downtown. And then, of course, the sale of city-owned property with the completion of the new public works and public safety facility in early 23. That's existing city-owned property will be sold to private parties and returned to the tax roll. Pages 8 and 9, 10 and 11 and 12 and 13 go over the expenditures for each fund. 14 and 15 review the actual revenues for the city. Unless somebody has anything specific they want me to highlight, Max, I wasn't going to go through those pages in detail.
I don't.
Okay. I have also included in the council packet the review of the 2023 co-bonds, the debt schedule for next year, and then the general fund reviews as they sit through tonight's bill batch, November 30th, where we sit for each individual general fund expenditures as well as the total revenue of the city. Completes my presentation.
Great. Now we move to the public comment portion.
Where does the city of Blackduck compare to the rest of the taxing authorities in Beltrami County?
You mean percentage?
Yeah.
of an increase?
Well, no, I mean, where do we rate compared to everybody else that's taxing?
It should have been on page 2 of your property tax, proposed property tax statement.
Here's last year's. We're number one. Blackduck's on the right-hand side over on the top.
See. Yeah.
I see this, but I don't know what this is. So. What does this number represent? What's the TC rate?
I think it's the mill rate.
I think our no way is what 90.
Yeah, we're not.
Lori, let me take a look.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at.
That's fine. Is this just Beltrán County?
Yep.
Okay, so we don't want to look at the townships.
Well, they're in Beltrán County too.
Right, the townships are different. They don't get LGA.
So I'm not sure what this means, is TC. What,
Chris is right, that's your mill rate. What that is, it's your total capacity.
Total capacity versus.
It's your tax capacity versus how much you're levying when your total net tax capacity and your levy amount become closer. As those two amounts get closer and closer, your percentage gets higher. And the city of Blackduck has always been very close to that 100%, at least.
My taxes went up 21% again this year. I can't remember the last time it was less than 20%.
Is it your total tax or all?
No, that's
entities?
just,
That's
that's
just
just
city.
Blackduck.
Thank you for clarifying.
And that's for a residential property?
Yep,
mine's up 17. So it's a big increase.
Yeah, I noticed, I think your statement is correct, Christina.
Mhm.
I noticed that on page 2 of my property tax statement.
Yeah. The new requirement the state is requiring all entities when they do their preliminary levy to have that sent to the county. The county has to provide that in the state that you get at home. So you can see where that overall increase of levy is.
it's
Yeah.
kind of a misleading figure, that second page, because if your property value goes up like mine did this year, like 34 grand,
Yep,
that increases your levy too.
Yes.
So if the city tax is 10%, and you gain 10% on that, that's 20% increase.
and your homestead exclusion probably went down,
It did.
as did mine. Yep. And that's the catch-22 of everything and how it's calculated is. After you hit over 100,000, that $40,000 of homestead exclusion, which hasn't changed since the 90s. As you get closer and closer to that $400,000 value slowly decreases, which, and even though your market value can go up, it's up in your tax as well because you don't have as much exclusion left anymore. Mhm.
Well, we gotta be getting real close to lakeshore property in the city of Blackduck.
Is there anything else?
I have to admit, I'm at a disadvantage. I don't know you.
I know you, I'm Chris Nurkis. I knew you when you were young. I was in Boy Scout with you.
Oh, yeah. I didn't, we've all changed. let's put it
Yeah,
that
we
way.
all got old.
You had an older brother. right?
Yep,
Really? Was he?
yep, he passed away quite a while ago.
I'm sorry. Nice to reacquaint myself.
You too.
Does anybody else want to speak publicly? Any member of the council even? We all live here too.
Well, I think it's what everybody already knows, is that we just don't have enough taxable property to help. And so the people that are here are carrying that extra load. And that's, I've only been here 5 years, my taxes have doubled in 5 years, so I understand. And I have a place in Bemidji that I do the same thing, you know.
If I owned my house in Bemidji right now, my taxes would be $500 a year.
No, mine are not, and it's 124
If you
year old
go-
house.
If you go on your computer, if you go to League of Minnesota Cities, there's a tax website on here, it'll tell you what taxes are in every town.
Yeah, they're not, they've gone up as well. And unless we can increase our tax rates, I don't see a big change.
So if I own a house in Bemidji, I only have to pay $500 a year in property tax?
City tax, 500 and some.
Okay,
Go to League of Minnesota Cities.
right, but I imagine the county tax would be extremely more,
Well,
right? I mean, I'm just asking.
right now, my county portion of my tax is $677. My Blackduck portion is $1,286. And the school license is only 400.
And mine are completely the opposite. I'm in Hines Township. My Hines Township is lower than my county. And my taxes in Hines Township will be $3,400 next year.
I will say this, Chris. I don't think there's been one of these that you've missed.
No, there hasn't.
I just want to say, no, I appreciate it because I wish we could get more people in here and maybe somebody has an idea.
A brainstorm, yeah.
Well, there's only two options, either cut spending or increase the money you're taking in.
With that, unless there's my third time technically asking if there's any further comment. Then I would make a motion to close I will make a motion to close the public hearing, truth and taxation. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on it? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. It's closed. I forgot to word it correctly though.
I got it.
You got it the right way?
I'll translate for you.
Thank you. To close the hearing and open the
Right.
regular meeting. And we can move to the Blackduck Forum. Is there anyone here for that? I could just jump right to reports from city staff. Mike, Public Works.
Report wise, cleaning up little stinky snowstorms here and there. Wish it would just snow if it was gonna snow. To do the winter stuff, trying to start to go through what we have in our current shop before we look at moving before too long. Other than that, just what we picked up or pick up on when we left off last time about the vehicle. But however, we don't have a full council tonight, it's vote as is or wait, I guess.
Would you like to remove it?
We take my chances the way it is.
Okay.
I would ask for another vote later on.
So I have questions about your budget. Because you mentioned you had line items
Mhm.
that you had money,
Mm-hmm.
and you will have money in at the end of the year. You also had did you have some lines that were over budget?
Depends on which ones you're looking at.
I didn't look at any of them, and I'm asking just because it kind of dawned on me that,
There's a couple that are in there that are way off, but it's for the building project this year. It's not out of what I'm going to say the budget that I put in was.
okay, that was clear as mud for me.
Yeah, it's Christina would have to elaborate better because it's charges that are coming from that are being put into my budget that were not budgeted for.
Okay. I followed you there. There we go. Okay, so excluding that, were those items budgeted at all for 2023? Or did they just get missed and they need to come out of something?
Essentially, it's all the WITSEF change orders and whatnot that we've been through. Isn't that generally what it is, Christina?
Your change orders are coming out of your contingency. However, the city contribution is also being funded from water, wastewater, and streets and police. So
And it wasn't technically budgeted the way that it's on my budget.
that is correct. So if you reference Lori for clarification, their budgets, just the water and wastewater and the street budget, I should have noted some of the areas that were just this project for the facility and given you a proper balance to look at without those overspendings. But in a nutshell, if you're looking at the 22 budgets for his department, yes, there are fund lines that are overspent and there are fund lines that are not completely spent. Okay, if you only want to look at the bottom number for clarification,
I kind of want to know if the overages or the underspent is going to offset what is over minus
correct,
what was
Minus.
added.
right?
And then is there that money left over for his vehicle?
Minus those big ones with the public works building,
Right,
yes, it would even itself out and it would not be negative.
okay. I guess with that, then you would still have money to cover the overages that were included in that. And then would still have the money for the vehicle, is that correct? So if you had an overage in,
No, it's not correct.
No.
Those overages are large,
Mhm.
very large, no matter what. There's no way I could cover them. They weren't budgeted. It's a $40,000 overage.
but that was for the other.
Okay, if you're
That was
gonna
for the
take, if you're
project.
gonna
That's
take
actually-
that
take that out,
out, if you're
don't
gonna
you?
take that completely away, then yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to know,
Okay.
is where, if you had other overages that you were just over on your regular.
There might
budget.
be a couple, especially when it comes to fuel,
Fuel.
but it's not anything of, gigantic size like
Okay.
that would be.
So in the lines that you are normally over budget,
Mhm.
can any of those that you are under budget cover that cost and afford you the vehicle? That's what I guess I want to know.
Yes,
Okay. Does that make sense? That makes sense?
you're essentially asking if there's a big
I
one
see
that
where
could
you're going
cover.
with it, yes.
It's the only way to look
Yep.
at it. I could, was
I
trying to
understand.
get in my head how to
I
be
understand.
fair.
Yep,
But
absolutely.
then I had a question about, okay, so we talked about there was overages and that gets put into some kind of fund at the end of the year, is that right? Is that what I
It just
understood?
rolls into, so
It goes by what?
it stays in that cash balance, so if there's any remaining funds of operating that was not spent, it stays in that cash balance when you look at the fund balance report.
Okay,
It's in there because we had to either charge a revenue if it's a water or wastewater charge in order to get in there. What Mike is concerned about is
It doesn't roll
it doesn't roll over. So this year's budget is still this year's budget. The only thing that could potentially stretch out from the end of 22 to the beginning of 23 would be maybe your heating fuel budget, because we have no idea where that's gonna lie from October to March. And we have the end of one year's budget and the beginning of another year's budget just for that particular fund line
okay.
to predict and budget for. Same with fuel, motor fuels is kind of the same way.
Again, though,
Right.
in my logic with my budget,
Mhm.
if we budgeted, and we're just gonna pull complete numbers out here just to make this quick and easy. If I budgeted 10,000 for something this year, and the budget next year is also 10,000 for that. If this year I only spent 5,000, there's 5,000 remaining. That remaining 5,000 does not roll over to my next year's to give me 15,000. That 5,000 just shovels off to the side. It's kind of a magic trick. It just
And it's
shovels off
used
to
for
the
something
side.
else, I think.
It stays in the general fund,
Yeah.
Goes in the general fund. Okay,
even though you've already committed to spending it,
right.
which wouldn't affect the next year's budget in any way, shape, or form.
So is there a calculated cost of what this extra vehicle will add to your budget in the upcoming years? So the fuel, because it's gonna be a running vehicle, right?
Yep.
And then insurance, tabs, whatever that cost, is there, did you like kind of figure out what you're gonna need for that in the future as
Nope.
far as repairs?
Nope, I didn't do anything with that. I wanted, that's why we kind of wanted to vote to see if this was something I should even look into more or not. I mean, tabs, what are tabs for us? We buy them for 2 years at a time.
It would be a city vehicle, so it would be a taxi.
Yeah, right,
Exactly. So there's nothing there, insurance on something like that, it's gonna be very minimal on that vehicle. The operating costs would be no more than any of the other vehicles we have.
Except to be an older.
Right,
vehicle.
Right, it's an older vehicle, I mean, whatever the fuel. is.
Tires.
Yep,
Tires, brakes, whatever, transmissions, those kind of things that wear out.
right, I mean, standard stuff.
Right. I just wonder, because I
Yeah,
thought
absolutely,
about it and then I was just like,
absolutely.
well, maybe we gotta dig into a little bit, deeper, so I get an understanding of what's going on.
Well, that's kind of what I was looking for when we all met last, was
And I just couldn't come up with it.
clarification.
I'll be honest with you, I just like, well, I don't, it sounds good, but I didn't
Sure.
have time to maybe consider some of those things that I couldn't think of.
Mhm.
Um,
I think we touched base a little bit on the operating costs last time and insurance and tabs.
We did, there was a conversation, but I wasn't sure if that was, okay, so that's not in your 2023 budget. So,
No, it
you know.
wouldn't be, but I mean, as far as the vehicle is concerned, I mean, depending on what you buy. You know, if it doesn't need tires or something right away, it's fuel, that's it.
Just from a private party,
Yeah, I mean, it would all depend, you know, there's actually one for sale just a couple miles outside of town right now that I just happened to see the other day. Most likely from a private party, that's where you're gonna get the best deal.
Not necessarily.
not always, but
Not always.
I see that it's on here as consideration.
Yes, because of the request from the work session.
Because if we don't push it through, if we don't vote, it's not gonna be filled.
January
And then
9th.
it'd be into the next year and it would be
A moot point.
exactly.
that's the questions I had. Anybody else got? wanna clarify anything for me?
Mike, you said this would be a running vehicle idling during the day to keep things warm.
Most of the time, depending on where I am with it and what I'm doing and stuff, but yes, if it's going to have. You know, all the paint and the metering stuff and whatnot in it, then there's a good possibility when it's real cold. That it's gonna run a little bit.
So the things that he's carrying don't freeze.
And it might not be, I mean, if it's 20 degrees and sunny outside. You know, and I've been driving around doing whatever and had the heat on, it's gonna last in there for a while, so then it doesn't need to sit and idle. But if it's 30 below or something, then it's a little different story.
But if it's 30 below. And you pull up in front of your new shop, you can just pull it inside, you wouldn't have to have it running. Correct?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
so all the money that you. Have left over to go back into the general fund, and that would be a less of a tax burden on the city of Blackduck.
Not at all.
It doesn't just go back.
It doesn't.
goes back.
Yeah, but
I mean,
it doesn't
it's not
work
being
that way
spent.
either,
It's not
Don.
being
It
spent.
isn't all of a sudden less of a tax burden. That's
No,
not how it
but
works.
what I'm saying is it's not gonna go bye-bye, it's just gonna.
It goes bye-bye for my department.
From your department.
Exactly, and I'm here
But
for
everybody
my
has-
department.
Everybody has a department.
Absolutely, and I'm here to, you know, champion for my
Advocating
department.
for his department.
Okay. And without a full council, I guess I wouldn't recommend vote. But. That's my opinion. You guys, you wanna vote? I mean, I don't know, how much are we talking?
What do we put on there between 3 to 5
3 to
thousand?
5,000 is what you mentioned last
The
time.
one that's close to town, that's not too far away, is $3,700 is what they're asking. I haven't really looked it over. I just glanced at it, I saw that it was sitting out for sale.
Yeah, I'm gonna be good till January on that.
Yeah, I would have hoped that we had a full council tonight, but it is what it is.
Okay.
Want it on the next meeting then?
I would say just pull it off, there's really no sense.
No point.
No, completely.
No. Other than that, we're waiting to see what this snowstorm tomorrow does.
Aren't we all?
I see that they did drop it down, you know, at one point they were talking 5 inches locally possibly, and now that's gone away, so.
Good.
We'll see what the wind does, that'll be the biggest factor for us.
There's supposed to be a snowstorm.
Yeah, it's been kind of bouncing up and down, that's what they
It's
said.
less than 2 inches now.
The last I heard is 1 to 3, so.
And
it's
that
like-
goes all the way to Wednesday night.
Well, they changed it, mine says it's tomorrow, basically from the morning till the afternoon, it's supposed to hit and come through quick now. We'll see, they go back and forth, yeah, they go back and forth,
It's like 10 inches.
they go back and forth all the time, so. we'll see what happens. Like
Just a
the,
ratings thing.
well, that skip we got this morning there for a while, that wasn't even on anything, so.
Wasn't even on the radar.
No, it wasn't
No,
on the
it wasn't.
radar, it was just out of nowhere.
I
for a
rushed
couple
home and
hours.
moved my truck off the street.
Yeah,
I'm like, holy crap.
but no, other than that, like I said, we're just kind of doing our winter stuff here with everything and starting to try to go through all the stuff from the building. That's that. You guys have anything for me? Questions, comments, concerns?
I'm sure there's something, but
Well, you guys all know how to get a hold of me.
Okay.
Thank you.
we'll move on. Shonda.
Yeah.
Liquor store.
I don't really have anything to report, we had a very successful hunting season out there. Sold a lot of food out of the new kitchen for sure. Ended November very well. So, I'm just hoping for a really nice December. And good ice. For our January. December and January, start off a year ahead of the game.
Nice.
That's, I mean. Red light traffic is necessary. Lake of the Woods.
Wait.
Going fishing?
Oh, yeah.
You guys have any questions for me?
Or Sundays.
Pretty good, actually. Decent. We're open shorter hours, but we do, you know, a couple $100 an hour, that's, on average, that's pretty good.
As long as the ladies are in it.
Well,
That's kind of where I was going. I
Yesterday-
wanted to- I wanted to-
yesterday, everybody left at halftime thinking, oh, they got it. Well, I think they should have stayed and drank some more stress beers. I mean, if they're good for that, I mean, they're good for that, like, what? Give me another drink so I can. But yeah. that's-
Other than that, all the other issues down there, the cooler door, all the other fun,
Oh, yeah, we're still struggling.
still with it.
We just keep working on it, hacking away at people.
Anything else for Shonda?
No.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And could you send Rob I don't have his email, but just a thank you for
Providing something for you.
writing something
Of
for the
course I will.
council this
You
evening.
bet. Is this what you were,
This is more or less, yes.
what you were
This-
looking for?
Something.
we can say, this is what your police force has been doing. This is what we're paying for.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. I'll give him the head nod.
We have a town cop now.
Yes, he was hired in April.
Well, I'm never in town. I leave town at 6 in. I get home after dark, so
He typically works like Wednesday to Sunday, comes in around noon, works his 10-hour shift. And
He's the interim.
the only thing I
No,
see
no,
in
no.
town is my family
That
drives.
that is our full time.
Okay.
That's how I accepted his question.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Zach Cahill, he's a retired, United States Army reservist. And he used to work for the Clearwater or Clearbrook Police Department as well. So he is with us. Our interim police chief is still Rob, right?
I'm still going to school, so when I get done, I'll
I need you.
the jail in the basement.
Oh, good. We'll be talking for him.
We'll see you guys later.
Thank you. Start careful.
Golf course report, everybody got a chance to see the minutes. It's in the consent agenda. Kelly,
The biggest thing that's been going on with us is the union, has been implemented, it's signed, it's in effect. It doesn't have anything to do with me, and it just kind of makes more work. It's only for assistants. For library assistants, so it has nothing to do with me, and it has nothing to do with any like, support staff or, basically anyone under 14 hours. There's like 90 employees in Kitchigami. And it only covers like 30 of them. So, yeah, this has been,
Did they get anything? I mean, substantial from like being part of it.
I mean, there are definitely some benefits for them. I think it's not near what, the people that were really going for it wanted. It's definitely beneficial for them, and I'm happy for them, I guess. I wish they would have, maybe taken a little easier and tried to include everyone instead of just a certain level of, yes, yeah.
And this is the first time they've formed,
Yes,
so it's baby steps. Yeah. Could include your level at some point, maybe.
yeah, we're not sure what's gonna happen with that. We have not talked union, but all the managers have met. And there's gonna be some negotiations going on. And I had already talked to Mike about just making darn sure, like, I'm not asking Mandy to do anything outside of her job description, so they're gonna be shoveling at the library on Saturdays, and, that was my main concern, because Mandy doesn't really do anything outside of her job description. I just wanna make darn sure that's not happening. There's no library board meeting this month. There is, a library open house, which we do every year. It's gonna be December 20th. We're doing hot cocoa bar again, like we did on, we did a hot cocoa bar during the blow in the snow. We had around 80 people come through, that's adults and kids. It was a big hit, like we ran out of hot cocoa and had to go more. And I ordered a huge thing of it from Sam's Club. Mandy's doing really well at getting into the library in a while, like just stop in and walk through, like, and look at the shelves, like it's impeccable. Like she does a really good job when she's there. Yeah. I'm really happy with her. I think we're gonna be a good team.
What was the open house again, Kelly? I'm sorry.
December 20th, it's a Tuesday.
The time of it?
It'll be 1 to 6 when we're open. We're doing the ornaments until we run out. I'm already like halfway out of them. I think I've got like 10 or 12 left of certain ornaments. And that's funded by the library board. They gave me $100 to do that. We'll be doing some class visits hopefully this month. We've been pretty busy. Stats are good. It seems like after all this hubbub with the county budget and stuff, people are making it a priority to come in and use the library.
That's usually what activism does.
It's good for business.
Yeah.
I'm gonna touch base with Sherry this week about, they should be voting on that county budget on next Tuesday, I
Yep.
believe.
13th, I think.
Yeah, so I don't know if they were going to have people there. I don't know. I have no idea how they're gonna vote or anything, if they're gonna be cutting, but they still have the option of cutting.
Right.
So I'm gonna be getting in touch with her and seeing what's going on with that. One of us will be there. I usually at least watch it online. I don't think they'll have public.
No, probably not. You
Yeah.
have to be in person for public comments if they do. And there's only one section that's for public comment.
Yeah. I don't think.
Yep.
So yeah, that's just about it. We're just fingers crossed that that goes smoothly, and have been hanging on to a little bit of my book budget just in case. So I think that's just all of it. Any questions for me?
Thanks for your participation in this. Nicole.
It was fun.
We met the law. I've got nothing else for you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I know I skipped over Brian's, but
No, he's not here. That was a mistake. I should have taken him off the agenda anyway.
it's okay.
Yep.
Meant to be, yes, so.
Yep. All right, so I have a couple action items tonight. As I stated at the work session, the orderly annexation resolution needs to be considered tonight. It was published in the Blackduck American on November 19th. Notice of intent, and that also represents the Heinz meeting that is to be held shoot. Next Wednesday, I believe. This one, Holly. So, once this is considered and moved on this evening, I will provide hard copy to Jeff Levy for consideration on the 14th, and then I can move forward to the Office of Administrative Hearings with the city attorney. So we've said it, we've read it, we've read it, we've read it, we've read it. I just need approval on it tonight. Hasn't changed.
Okay.
Get the steps right.
I get a approval of the resolution 2022-20. City of Blackduck and the annexation between the city of Blackduck and Hines Township.
A motion.
Second.
Yes, a second. Any further discussion on this one? I think we've been through it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries.
Item B is an annual resolution designating the polling places for 2023. You know, our polling places here at City Hall, so nothing changes, but this has to be designated every year for the next year. Here for one, this one, please.
Motion to approve resolution number 2022-28, designating polling places for 2023. City of Blackduck. City Hall.
Motion.
Second.
Seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. That is passed.
Item C is a quick claim deed between the city of Blackduck and Shannon K and Larry J. Campa. This is for that 1.87 feet from parcel A to the theater. I need this in order to complete that and register it with the county. So I need approval on this quick claim deed, please.
I will move. Claim deed between city of Blackduck and the campus for the 1.87 feet as we discussed.
Second.
A motion, a second. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? None.
Item D is a resolution authorizing the sale of public property in the city limits for the deed loan program. So just point of clarification, our city attorney noted that in the original version of this resolution that was signed back in September, I noted in the second paragraph, exhibit A, but did not provide that exhibit. So I have revised that, noting the new, the certificate of survey that everybody's seen, so that when it's recorded at the county, it has a reference point. So I need this reauthorized, please, tonight.
This is for the block 7, Blackduck. Is that what you're 20, 2219?
2219 is for parcel A, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So motion to approve resolution 2022-19, revision A.
Oh, I'm sorry, revision one,
One,
sorry.
okay.
I
I was
misunderstood
like,
what you were
okay,
asking me.
well. I'll go with
Revision
A.
one, thank
Revision
you.
one.
I will second that motion.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
No,
All's in favor?
I,
Aye. Opposed? Carries.
Letter E is resolution 2022-30, adopting a schedule of fees and charges for various services, licenses, and permits for 2023. I presented a draft to the council at the work session in November. I have made no changes. So
I
it
think it's
stands.
still all.
motion to approve 2022-30 resolution adopting a schedule of fees and changes for 2023.
There's a motion and a second. Further discussion?
No,
All those in favor?
I,
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Passes.
Letter F is the request to approve the 2023 special and enterprise fund revenue and operating budgets. These are presented at the work session. There have been no changes.
motion to approve resolution 2022-27. Is that
We're,
correct?
no,
Am I-
we're on F. Lily.
F, oh, sorry,
Special revenue and enterprise funds.
okay. So motion to approve 2022-30 resolution adopting the schedule for fees. No, where am I?
We're on F.
Is this it here? Okay.
One
Approval
more
needed
time.
for 2023 special and enterprise fund revenue and operating budget.
There we go.
There it is.
Bingo. So we got her.
It's in black.
Third time's a charm.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
I will second that.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on this?
No,
All those in favor?
I,
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that is passed.
Letter G. Oops. Letter G is resolution 2022-27, approving the final 2022 tax levy collectible in 2023. Oh, we lost my place.
you're shaking your head. What's up, bud?
Well. I will make a motion to approve 2022-27. Approving the final tax levy for 2023.
As stated on the resolution.
As stated.
I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Now, is there any further discussion? Is there something you want to get on the public record?
The council has previously voted on this, if my memory corrects you.
Correct, sir, but this is our final,
This
Right.
is it.
Yeah.
yes, this is if you are going to
has to take $100,000 off tonight, you could.
No.
But you could add $100,000 onto it.
Well, we can lower it, but we can't raise it. But the point would be, you have to have. I guess. Where are we taking?
Yeah, but I just want to clarify my recollection, the council voted and it did pass.
It did pass. It was 3-2.
This would be the time if there's something that you could move out of the budget, you have to figure that out.
So if there's, I'll ask one more time if there's any further discussion.
I have nothing.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Aye. With that, it is 3-1.
Is that an opposed aye or?
So, just so I'm clear, I have Councilor Hamilton, Frederickson, and Mayor Goulet for,
Correct?
and Councilor Johnson against.
Correct.
Very good. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Moving down, I have a list of meeting dates. Next Wednesday, the 14th at 11 o'clock is the next meeting of the Development Board here at City Hall. The 15th will be the next combined maintenance and construction meeting. The one that was supposed to be held on the first did not take place.
Okay.
Our,
And we'll try to make it to this one.
yeah, our TNT was absent due to illness. Brent Damon will be here. Todd will be here. So
There's been quite a bit of Woodset presence.
yeah, and I explained to Brent in the phone call this morning that I didn't think tonight was the night he needed to be there. Doing parts of the meeting last Thursday not taking place, but they'll be here for the 15th construction meeting, so he'll make a point of being here to the 19th work session.
Okay.
The date of completion, that's gotta be considered and labeled. That's gonna be a big one on the 15th. Moving down, calendar. I have on there that, Thursday, the 15th at 6 p.m. is the Blackduck Ambulance Association's Truth and Taxation meeting. That's here at City Hall that night. The public, may come to that. And then the following Monday, the 19th, would be our work session for December. The 21st at 2 p.m. will be the next planning commission meeting. And then as we move into the holidays, December 26th is the observed Christmas Day holiday, so city offices are closed. January 2nd is the observed holiday for New Year's Day. City offices are closed, and January 9th, 2023 will be your first official regular city council meeting of 2023. And that is all I have, except for a couple of good things happening. Put these in your agenda packet.
Yes.
The chamber has their next meeting on the 21st, but this Wednesday night, Choice Therapy is hosting Blackduck Chamber after hours from 5 to 7 at their location. And the Blackduck Area Chamber of Commerce local holiday promotion, their chamber bucks, that promotion is right now. They're utilizing some donations from Stanford and Pullman Communications from, oh my goodness, all the way back to 2020, late 2020. They have some money still left over, so they're giving away 3 $250 prizes of area chamber bucks that can be utilized at the locations in town on that flyer. And the only way that you have to that you can register is you scan the QR code that's on the flyer, tell them what local chamber business you've visited, and then you're registered into
into the promotion.
People for all of you, start with 11.
You can register as many times as you want.
Oh.
Yep, but they encourage you to physically visit. And, you know, have your patronage and then scan the QR code there at the location. But yes, that's basically how it's done.
The high school boost.
Yeah, and they'll award those, I think they're supposed to give those prizes out on 18. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I happened to see in the email, did they get the rest of the addresses figured out for those signs, or do, I printed off a couple at home
I think so.
and
I think
just
Chris
gonna,
took control of that, so I.
Okay.
Yeah,
the nature.
the chamber and the development part are also gonna be filming their winter version of their commercial that they have on our website right now, our YouTube channel. So I encourage anybody that wants to be part of some of the filming. They're gonna do kind of like a kickoff at 12:30 at Wayside Rest with some folks in the snow in front of the duck. So love to get either chamber members or community members there. I don't know what Pinnacle has in mind, but it sounds like it's throwing snow up and saying, yay, snow. So I'll be there.
When
is
is
Anybody-
that?
When I have never
This
in my
Friday.
life said gay snow.
This Friday at 12:30.
Sounds cool. All right, maybe when I was 10.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
no.
a little
Yeah.
different then. Anybody else have anything to report? It was good to see everybody at the Globe.
Yeah, I was
There
gonna
was
say that. It was.
That was
All of
The
us
whole
were
council
there,
showed up. I loved it.
That was fun.
and
It was fun.
I made the long walk over there.
Yeah,
I learned that I'm not the only one who can't sing.
yeah, right? You know what? You asked for it, you got it.
We got it. So anyway, with
There
that,
was warning ahead of time.
who wants to make that last final motion? No second that. Okay. In favor,
Aye.
we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. One more this year.
What's today?